Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Shaka, Hislop and Stevie Nicol. We also welcome to the show today Julien Laurens is with us, as is, and Mario Melchiot. We were going to start the programme with the sacking of Stellini at Spurs, but breaking news tonight in England is suggesting that Mauricio Pochettino is going to be the new coach of Chelsea. As we recall, as we're going live here, it's still yet to be done, Jules, but it seems to be inevitable.
Yeah, that's right, Dan. We're in the final stages, really, of all the negotiations. I'm being told that it's only details to be sorting out between Mauricio Pochettino, his camp, all his staff is going to come, his son, Jesus Perez, all the people pretty much that were with him in Paris are going to come to Chelsea, and it's just those kind of details to iron out. But that is already working on the squad for next season, on the preparation, on everything that he's going to do to have an idea of what kind of team he's going to have, who fits in, who doesn't fit in, what he wants to do as a Chelsea manager, who maybe could come in as well in the summer as new signings, who will be sold. All those kind of things are already in motion, really. So I expect just maybe a matter of days, not that many actually, before maybe Pochettino is announced for next season. So Lampard will still finish the season and Poch will take over in the summer.
Do you like this?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. You know, when he came to Tottenham, Tottenham took him because he knew the Premier League. He'd done a great job with Southampton, so there was going to be nothing new hitting him. He took Tottenham to a Champions League final. You know, he brought on young players. He brought on Harry Kane. I mean, Dele Alli was absolutely incredible under him. People like Eric Dyer were young then as well. So he's got experience at PSG. OK, it didn't go so well, but you know what? Sometimes a bad experience helps you take a step forward. So I think he ticks a lot of boxes, and there's no question. I think this is a good appointment.
Okay.
I'm with Stevie on this. And while, yes, I think he had issues at PSG, I think PSG as a club have a number of issues that many a good manager has struggled to contend with. Saying that, you could probably see the exact same for Chelsea right now. That being said, I think Pochettino is a good fit for what's needed. New ownership who clearly have made some awful footballing decisions, that's putting it as nicely as I possibly can, and need somebody to sort that out. But need somebody to do that in a way that doesn't take away or detract any further from the ownership and the poor job that they've done. And the one thing about Pochettino, he's always sung from the team hymn sheet. He has told the party line really well in terms of how he manages that relationship, in terms of how the club communicates with the public, and as he faces the football club, I think he's exactly what Chelsea needs right now. He just needs to say to Ted Bowley, leave me to handle the public-facing side of the game. All the stuff that happens behind the scenes has to stay behind the scenes. Trust me to turn this club around.
Mario's suggestions, obviously, he wasn't first choice. Luis Enrique, Nagelsmann as well approached, however, didn't want the job. From a Chelsea perspective and as a former player, does Pochettino get you excited?
Look, you also have to look what is available, I think. That's one of the key things. Of course, he was from the rival team, so that's obviously a sensitive part that comes in. But away from that, Pochettino, even when Spurs was waiting that long, I always said, like, they should have gone for him. So if now that Chelsea can go, yeah, why not? I mean, it's what the guys already mentioned, you know, his stat record says enough. And also his experience. I think the key thing here is Potter came from PSG as well and had an experience at it. It was really sensitive for him, and he got his job, and it gave him a sort of feeling of he wanted to prove him. I hope Pochettino has the same feeling, because going to PSG is not an easy step, but then going to Chelsea is not going to be an easy one, because in the situation where they're in. Look, he knows how to work with young players. He knows how to work coming into a team and try to build his own momentum. So I think key things like that are really necessary at Chelsea, because they change really quickly. They brought in so many people. The owners want to get influence into what they're going to do with the players. Now they got a guy that literally wants to put his foot down and knows how to handle big situations. And now I just hope that he can build the team as quick as he can, because I went to see his team in the final when they played with Spurs against Liverpool, and Liverpool won it. And I saw a coach that played really well going up to final. The only thing is in the final was a little bit less, but going up to the final, he played some interesting football. So I hope he can bring that to the bridge.
Jules, how would he deal with Todd Boehly coming down into the dressing room?
That's one of the questions. I was told that they addressed that in the many interviews that Pochettino had with Todd Boehly, with all the sporting directors that they have, with Stanley, Stewart, Vival, with Ekbali as well. So, and that was addressed, and rightly so, I think. He knows that, I mean, Pochettino personality doesn't allow any kind of interference from the ownership or anything like that. This is not how it works. So I think he was very, very clear on that. Another question that was addressed was how will the Chelsea fan base react? Because, I mean, Mario can tell us, he might like Pochettino as a coach, as a manager, but this is still an ex-Spurs manager, and the relationship between Chelsea and Spurs, Chelsea fans and Spurs fans, they just hate each other. I'm sure there's a lot of Chelsea fans who are not going to be too happy that he's a former Spurs manager, and a lot of Spurs fans won't be happy that Pochettino, who's great there, is going to Chelsea, to the enemy, one of the enemies, certainly. So that's going to be interesting what kind of reception he's going to get. But he certainly believes that this is the right time to come at the club. They've got lots of young players, and that's the reason why also they're believing in Pochettino, is to develop those young players and do a bit of what he did at Spurs, like Stevie mentioned. And also, let's not forget, there will be no European competitions next season, which means that Poch will have a lot of time to work, because there will be a game on a Saturday and then nothing for a whole week. Compare it with Graham Potter when he arrived at Chelsea after Tuchel, when he clearly could not really train properly because every 3 days there was a game and there was travelling and there was this and there was that. Poch won't have any issues like that. So that would be much better for him in that sense.
Jules, you mentioned Lampard. Why not bring in Pochettino now? And you've got 5 or 6 games to assess what's going on, who's rubbish, what I need to do over the summer.
It's a good point, I think, and I think they've discussed that as well, and it might change for all we know, but right now the plan is only in the summer. I mean, contractually wise, I don't know how it would work. I guess you can always sign a contract on May, whatever, but I think in terms of starting a new chapter fresh, I guess the end of the season, start of pre-season, and Poch is already working on pre-season, the tour in the US, the tournament that they will play in the US, all that kind of stuff already. Maybe it's easier to start there. I don't really know, because I asked the question. I thought, okay, bring him now. I mean, Lampard is dreadful. We know that. It's not good. Four defeats in a row for the first time in 30 years. Why not now? Maybe Poch doesn't want to rush anything, and maybe he thinks, you know what, it's better for me if I arrive in the summer and I've got a few friendlies to start before the competition starts, instead of going in now and have a game at Arsenal, for example, have those kind of tough games and maybe not starting on the right way.
What do you win? He can't win if he starts now, Pochettino.
Why not?
No.
Well, because whenever he puts his team on the field, he wants them to be playing in a certain way and ready to produce and win games. And all this talk about, everybody will know that, this is not really his team, but all he's doing is he's sussing out who he wants to keep, who he doesn't want to keep, all this. That's all great theory. The fact is, if he took over tomorrow and they lose the next 2 games on the trot, nobody's going to be talking about, well, once he gets a pre-season and everybody's...
I think they will, won't they?
No, they won't. Absolutely not.
I think
they'll all start jumping on him straight away. He can't win. If he jumps in now, he can't win.
What would you prefer then, if you're Pochettino?
If I'm Pochettino, I'm going to do exactly what it seems like. I'm going to sit from a little distance and suss out... Well, I haven't decided yet. Either the top of the stand or but I'm going to sit and I'm going to assess and figure out who I want, who I don't want, how I'm going about it, figure out what's the best way of playing.
But don't you need to be
so
in the mechanics, right into the heart of the machine to know where it's going wrong?
He's going to be able to see enough to figure out and then get his team together for, 7 weeks in the summer and work on what he wants Chelsea to be. And then, when the league kicks off next season, then he can judge me. Right. Judge me on the work I've done. For me, he can't win if he takes over this weekend.
Go on, Mario.
No, I agree with Stevie. What he says. Oh, it also comes down to tactical movement, because you got to watch the timing. You know, okay, you come from the rival team with what Stevie just said. It makes so much sense. Why would I want to take the job now? I know I'm going to go in heat. He knows when the season kicks off next season, he knows he has to start well. So if he comes in now, how well can you do now? You lost 400 pounds and then you're going to come number 5 to it? Nah, that's not really what you want. And then also, you're coming into a new situation and you don't have a lot of time to prep. So you might as well just prep by going in the stands. You sign me. I'm going to sit in the stands. I'm going to watch the team, regardless if I don't have my hand in it yet. But I see how they perform, what individual I want to keep, and then I move from there. And also, you have to remember, the history of Pochettino is different than the one that is for Lampard. Lampard they brought because of the fans. That was the reason behind it, that they needed more time. Pochettino, you cannot do the same what you're going to do to Lampard. No, come on. Pochettino wouldn't even... He wouldn't say, oh, sign me now and I'm jumping in. No. The journey didn't go like that. Pochettino wants the job, but he's going to take the job. And there are a couple of things that are going to be in that are what he wants and not only what the club wants. Because if not, I don't think he would take the job.
What a weird final few games it's going to be for Chelsea with Lampard. Like, if you're Lampard, how are you feeling? Just there going, oh...
I think Lampard, the damage to Lampard's reputation as a manager was done some time ago. This experience at Chelsea, second time around, is only adding to that. He was on a no lose in that regard, given how things went at Everton. So you understand Lampard taking the job, but I'm sure Lampard also knew that he was not going to be the Chelsea manager come the start of next season. He was hoping to get a few games, maybe put himself in somebody's reckoning, not Chelsea, but somebody else's. That's now irreversibly damaged as well. He's just seeing it out and just knowing that, trying to position himself with Chelsea, that whenever they need a short-term fix, somebody to stand in for whatever reason it may be, that they can call on him.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.